Welcome to Issues That Matter. I'm Cynthia Pooler. My guest today is Scott Ritter, and Scott is doing an event this coming Saturday. What's the date of that?
That'll be September 27th in Kingston, New York, in the crossroads of history, downtown Kingston, in Gerald Salante's um, little cafe.
Okay. So you're going to have some really great guests. You're having Dennis Kucinich, right?
Dennis Kucinich, Ray McGovern, Joe Loria, Garland Nixon. I'm missing Gerald Salante. Um, Roger Waters will come in via video stream, so that'll be good.
So what will be discussed?
Well, I mean, it's a peace and justice rally. So each person is responsible for picking their own topic. I don't dictate outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure people will talk about the situation in Gaza. I'm going to be focusing on arms control and Project 38 and the effort to try and keep arms control alive. It's been made more complicated by, um, you know, the Trump administration's absolute inability to engage responsibly on arms control. Russia has pretty much acknowledged that the treaty will expire. So the idea of getting an extension of the treaty is no longer viable. But Vladimir Putin has talked about a voluntary moratorium on increasing the size of the Russian nuclear arsenal so long as the United States it does the same. The moratorium will last for a year, but this is not the same as having a treaty in place because at any moment, if the Russians determine the United States is not acting in good faith, they can terminate the moratorium.
So as of right now, how does it look? Does it look promising?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. We that's again this makes Project 38 all the more imperative. We need to convince Donald Trump to take advantage of this 1 year moratorium to agree to the to participate in this moratorium and then to begin the process of negotiating seriously to provide a arms control vehicle to replace New Start.
And has there been any initiative from the president to do this?
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever. That's pretty strong words. Okay, how do you, Scott Ritter, convince him to do that?
Same way we're doing it before. We're bringing together a group of experts. We're going to come up with a strategy on how we can um, put pressure on the president to agree to the 1 year extension. It's the same process that we were involved in trying to convince President Trump to extend the New START treaty. But now that that appears to be impossible, it's to get President Trump to agree to abide by the 1 year moratorium that Vladimir Putin has offered. President Trump back in July of 25 said that New START was a treaty that shouldn't be allowed to expire. Well, it's too late, Mr. President. You didn't do a damn thing to prevent that. So now the goal is to keep the moratorium in place so that you can negotiate a new treaty. But on July 19th of this year, a week before the president said he didn't want the treaty to expire, Marco Rubio gutted the United States State Department, 1,300 jobs out the window, including the people who are responsible for intelligence, for Russia, for arms control. They're all gone. There's been a consolidation of work. So whereas before you had a bureau dedicated to arms control, that bureau now has been consolidated with a larger bureau that looks after not just arms control but counter proliferation. I mean, I'm sorry, counter uh, uh, narco trafficking and counterintelligence, two very important issues. So arms control isn't being given the attention that it needs to be given. The man responsible for overseeing these bureaus hasn't been ratified by the United States Senate. So there's still nobody in that job. And this is why there's been no effort for arms control. There's nobody to do it. The president fired everybody. Nobody has this job. Um, and so we have this vacuum. And what we're hoping is that we can create a citizen engagement team that's capable of filling this vacuum, at least in the short term, and provide some sound, sage advice to the president that will avoid a new nuclear arms race.
Now, how does the event that you're having Saturday help fill that vacuum?
Well, I mean, it allows us again to address the public about this, to generate public awareness for this, and hopefully generate public support. The uh, the urgency is even greater now than it was when we're simply trying for an extension. Um, and this means that the problems that have to be overcome are greater. Of course, that means that more effort has to be put in. That means meetings. That means travel, et cetera. And the budget just becomes it's an issue. So again, we're totally dependent upon donations to do this. So far, we people have been very generous, but what President Putin did, in addition to providing a window of hope that arms control isn't dead, he's made the task of trying to advise the president even more complicated.
Do you find him to be a patient man?
Who?
Putin.
He's infinitely patient, and that's probably the good news. But there is a limit to his patience, and we've just seen that. Recognizing that this president would not be doing anything meaningful in the field of arms control in terms of treaty extension or negotiating a new treaty, he took the initiative. He took the bull by the horns to basically declare the treaty dead, but to offer an off ramp. But one of the caveats attached to this off ramp is that the United States cannot pursue anti-ballistic missile defenses. Of course, President Trump has announced that he will be indeed pursuing the Golden Dome missile defense shield over the United States. This would be the kiss of death for any hope of sustaining the limits, the caps that are imposed under New START. So now, for instance, the job of any citizen engagement team is to convince the president not to pursue Golden Dome. And this is a president who, once he attaches political capital to an idea, it's very difficult to shake him off of that. And we need to find a way to um, implore the president, at a very minimum, delay Golden Dome until which time we have a new arms control vehicle in place. Golden Dome would be the death of arms control.
That's interesting because, in listening to the news, and of course, I don't know as much as you do, that AOC is kind of for it, right?
What does she know? I mean, AOC's for it because it plays well politically. Um, Missile defense is a program that the mentally incapacitated endorse because they don't understand why it doesn't work. One of the people on the team that I'm trying to help put together is Ray McGovern. Ray McGovern, of course, was a CIA analyst who, back in the day, helped negotiate the anti-ballistic missile treaty. Indeed, he was in Moscow in 1972 when the treaty was signed. He knows as well as anybody why the ABM treaty was brought into fruition. That's because both the United States and the Soviet Union recognized that there is no such thing as a viable missile defense. That if you continue to pursue missile defense, all you do is encourage the other nation to develop offensive strike capabilities. They can overcome that defense, thereby creating the need for new defense. And now it's a vicious circle that'll bankrupt everybody and secure nobody. So we've already been down this road. This is what's frustrating, is that people like Ray and myself, anybody who's done this for a living, understands the futility of what the president seeks. Remember, Ronald Reagan thought that he could get the perfect missile defense shield with Star Wars, with the Strategic Defense Initiative. That couldn't work. That wouldn't work. That would never work. And eventually the United States government had to admit it and drop it. And now we have the same pie in the sky stupidity being promoted by Pete Hegseth and others to talk about, the Golden Dome. Golden Dome will never work. The technology is unproven and it's impractical. Moreover, the price tag associated with this will run into trillions of dollars.
Mm.
Trillions. We can't afford that. So, we're going to bankrupt ourselves to produce something that doesn't work.
Would you say we're in as much danger today as we were at the end of the Biden administration?
No, at the end of the Biden administration, an administration that was willing to fight a nuclear war. Again, I want to remind people that Congress was briefed in December about the danger of nuclear war with Russia, and the CIA said there's a greater than 50% chance that if the Biden administration continues its policies, Russia will use nuclear weapons. And the response of the Biden administration is that's okay, we're ready to have that war. All right.
Mm.
As bad as Donald Trump is today, he at least is saying we don't want nuclear war. We're trying to avoid it. He doesn't have good policies to back up this sentiment, but at least we're not ready to fight a nuclear war with Russia today. We're trying to avoid one. So I'd say that we're in a little bit better situation.
But it's still precarious.
100% precarious because it can spin out of control, especially if we allow a nuclear arms race to commence, because we will be the underdogs in this. To give you an example, the United States today has Minuteman III missiles, our intercontinental ballistic missiles, silo-based solid rocket fuel missiles. These missiles were deployed in the 1970s, late 1970s, early 1980s. They're well past their expiration date, but we've kept extending them because we've been unable to build a viable replacement. The United States has been looking at building something called the ground-based deterrent system or something, but the Sentinel intercontinental ballistic missile. When it was announced a few years ago, I took one look at it and they were saying that it was going to cost, $45 billion, a total of 100 and some odd billion dollars to deploy. And I looked at it and I said, this system will cost by the time it's finished well over $1 trillion and it will never work. And people at the time said, how could you say that? Well, because I know missiles and I know missile production and I understand how these things work. Just recently, the Congressional Budget Office came out and said that Sentinel won't work, can't be built, and won't be built. Now the United States Air Force is talking about extending the life, time of the Minuteman III until 2050.
Mm.
2050. This means that we have a missile that is supposed to last 15 years, now going to be approaching its 75-year mark. This is stupidity in the extreme. Russia, meanwhile, has fielded brand new missiles that are the most advanced in the world with hypersonic reentry vehicles. We don't want to get into an arms race with Russia. What we want is a nuclear arms reduction treaty that helps bring stability to the situation and avoids the unnecessary costs of spending trillions of dollars on weapons that don't work and don't protect us.
Mhm. So your event is the 27th, and the area that you're going to have it in is not gigantic. So you're going to stream it, right?
Well, it will be streamed. I mean, first of all, I don't want to discourage people. We can fit several hundred people in this area, and we will have an outdoor TV screen, big old. It's a truck with a giant a TV screen. So if people are outdoors, and the weather's supposed to be good, so
Good.
don't panic. Um, but what we'd really like to do is shut Kingston down. You know, Woodstock, which was a music festival, when they announced Woodstock, enough people came that they shut down the thruway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Guys, let's shut down Kingston. Let's shut down the thruway. Come to Kingston. Be part of history. Shut it down. Make the media pay attention because people are going to say, why is the thruway shut down? And it's going to be because of a peace rally that's trying to save your lives, save the lives of your children, your grandchildren. Um, and then the media might pay attention. We can help magnify this message. If we just turn this into your standard, peace rally, first of all, I thank everybody who shows up. I'm deeply grateful to it. But come on, how many years has Gerald Celente been doing this? And we address the same problems every year. and there doesn't seem to be solutions. I mean, last year we had a change because we were trying to stop a nuclear war, and we did because of Operation Dawn, which was announced at the Kingston Peace Rally. This year we'll be announcing Project 38 in the effort to extend the START Treaty. I think we're going to succeed. I have all hopes and expectations of success, and that'll be because of the work that was initiated from this peace rally. So we are accomplishing something. It's not a waste of time, but people could make our lives a lot easier if we got everybody's attention up front. And the best way to do that is drown Kingston with people, flood into Kingston, make the Kingston cops shut down the streets, shut down the neighborhoods. And the media won't be able to ignore that.
I better get there early then.
You better get there early. I'll save you a seat.
Thank you. So, it'll be on your website, correct?
It'll be streamed. I mean, first of all, if you go to just I'll give you the website for Gerald. But if you go to my YouTube channel, it'll stream on that. It'll stream on my X channel, so anybody who follows me will
Oh, good.
be able to follow that. But let me pull up Gerald here. Let's see. Oh, Judge Andrew Napolitano will be speaking as well at the event. It's at the Four Corners of Freedom. He calls it the Four Corners of Freedom. That's John and Crown Street in Kingston, New York. And I think if you go to trendsjournal.com, you'll be able to find the link that'll take you to Gerald's YouTube channel, and they'll be streaming on some others as well. But I'll be posting that on my social media as well.
So the hours.
The hours are from 2 to 6, so it begins at 2 o'clock until 6. Of course, there's food being sold in vendors, so get there early, get some food, sit down. There'll be music. We're going to do our best to make it an enjoyable afternoon, but every speaker who's going to be addressing the audience will be a speaker who has a message, a meaningful message about, the issues of the day.
Okay, that sounds great. So one last question before I know you have to go. How's Project 38 coming along?
Good. Begin filming this week.
Wow. You're
Yeah.
going you're going to Hawaii?
No, Hawaii is phase two. Phase one is filming a bunch of interviews that are going to be incorporated into the movie. So I'll be knocking out some interviews this week.
So you'll be talking about that on Saturday, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
great. So you've been listening to Scott Ritter. Scott's got to run for another interview. I'm Cynthia Poole. This is Issues That Matter. If you like this show, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks, Scott. I'll see you Saturday. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Have a great day.